Happy start of the week. I bring you a story that not only speaks about true friendship, but also is an example of the goodness in humanity during World War II and the battle for the Philippine Islands. This story is proof that there are good people who will always choose to do the right thing despite the darkness in others. I hope you enjoy the story. It was 1939 and World War II was just beginning when high school students Arthur Brazier and his best friend Billy Skinner decided to enlist. They decided to join the U.S. Army and went through the basic training together. They did everything together. Once they were out of basic training, they were given a choice of order as to where they would go, and they decided to go to the furthest place away. They chose the Philippines. By April of 1942, under the relentless attack from the Japanese, the Philippine Islands surrendered one by one. Arthur and Skinner were both captured and taken prisoner. The two men will face nearly 4 brutal years in separate POW camps. When Arthur was captured and taken prisoner, he was worried about his class rank because the Japanese were taking everything of value from the captured Americans. If a soldier couldn't take off his ring, they would cut their finger with a sword. So Arthur wore a neckerchief around his neck. So he took the class ring and hid it under the knot of the neckerchief, hoping that the Japanese would never find it, and they didn't. Even under constant guard, it was still possible to receive information about other POW soldiers. Arthur kept trying to find information about his friend Skinner. Arthur learned that Skinner was at Camp 1, only 6 miles away from Camp 3 where he was. He was told that Skinner was in Zero War, which was the last stop for prisoners so ill that death was inevitable. Arthur lost hope of ever seeing his friend again. Healthy prisoners were pressed into work details on a quota basis. Arthur volunteered for one, not knowing where it would take him, but hoped that it will take him by Camp 1, where Skinner was said to be located. Even though Arthur was suffering from malnutrition and vitamin C deficiency, he volunteered because he wanted to find information about his friend. When the workday arrived at Camp 1, Arthur took another chance. He asked one of the Japanese guards if he could visit the sick site, and surprisingly, they gave him a white flag mounted on a bamboo pole and a pass. He was told to walk slowly and carry the flag high or he would be shot, and to show the pass on the other hand. When he reached the fence outside Zero War, Arthur called for his friend. Out of the barracks, tottering slowly, painfully, came the wreckage of a human body he could hardly recognize. Arthur tried to conceal his horror. When they had last seen each other, Skinner packed a solid 214 pounds, but he was now a skeleton that weighed only 79. He was in agony from malaria, pellagra, scurvy, and beriberi. He couldn't even eat or drink because of the pain in his mouth and throat. Skinner was so happy to see his friend. Arthur passed to his friend the only thing of value he had. He quickly passed the ring through the fence when no guard was looking, in the hopes that it could be useful to his friend in some way. Skinner wrapped his bony fingers tightly around the ring and promised to one day buy another exactly like it for his friend. Time was up and the friends had to say goodbye once again. It will be the last time they will see each other for the rest of the war. Arthur left his dying friend, never expecting to see him alive again. The days and weeks that followed for Skinner contained an incredible sequence of miracles. Among the Japanese guards at the Zero War was a middle-aged fellow who displayed a prominent gold tooth. For some reason, the guard took pity on the dying prisoner and made a friendly gesture. He took a cigarette, broke it in half, and dropped half of it by the fence with a match. Weighing all the odds, the next day, Skinner took a big chance. He decided to trust the Japanese guard. He offered him the ring in the hopes of trading it for something of value. The guard asked if it was valuable, and Skinner told him that it was. The guard slipped the ring into his pocket and quickly left. One day, soon after, the guard came back, and again he dropped something and strolled off on patrol. Skinner picked up the small package. He opened it carefully, and inside were sulfanilamide tablets to treat infections. The guard visited again and again. Each time he brought something. He brought a basket of limes to combat scurvy and pellagra. Another time it was a pair of pants and a jacket. And at other times he will drop off bananas. And if the guard had been caught helping a prisoner, they would have taken his own life. But a bond had formed between these two men. They were no longer enemies. They were friends. And it was this small light of human kindness in the dark times of humanity of war that gave Skinner back his life. In 1945, the United States government finally won the war against Japan, and the prisoners of war, after almost 4 years of captivity, were released. For Arthur and the other POWs, the nightmare was finally over. Months after, Arthur, who was now living in Mount Carmel, had someone ring his doorbell. To his surprise, it was his friend Skinner, who after hugging him told him that the ring he gave him had saved his life. Skinner told Arthur that thanks to the ring and the kindness of a guard, he was the only one who survived and made it out alive out of Civil War. This story captured me not only because of the beautiful friendship these two men had, but also because of the wonderful act of kindness that this one individual did to help save another human life. And to me, this is proof that human nature is intrinsically good. In spite of all the darkness that is out there, this story is an example of the kindness and the compassion that is out there in the world. And by the way, in case you're wondering, Skinner did in fact have an identical ring made for his friend Arthur. So he ended up keeping his promise when he told him that one day he would give him an identical ring. And given that today is Monday, the first day of the week, let that be your theme. Make a commitment to show the best of your humanity to all those people that you meet. We are capable of horrific things, but we are also capable of some incredible kindness and compassion. So make a commitment, make that choice to tip the scales towards our good side. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I will see you next week. And if you haven't subscribed to my storytelling channel, do so you never miss an opportunity to be inspired with these wonderful stories and other miracles. In the meantime, stay safe, stay grateful, and be the change you want to see in the world. I'll see you next week.